Welcome to Making It Cheesy with Mark. I'm Mark Carrington. Today I'll be sharing my special pimento cheese recipe. A lot of people told me it's one of the best recipes it's ever had. Little fun fact about pimento cheese, we all think of it as a southern delicacy. However, it originated in New York City, or in New York, in the 1890s, somewhere around there. That's when cream cheese was invented in New York. For some reason it became very popular, and then they put the name Philadelphia on it at some time along the way, but really cream cheese started in New York City. And then there were some pimento peppers were famous from Spain, and they were starting to be imported into America, canned, and it was a new invention, and then somebody got a right idea to mix these two things together. So pimento cheese really started in New York in the 1890s. It started becoming a little bit more popular in the southern states in the 20s, when there was a county in Georgia that started growing the same peppers. And by, I think it was like 1928, they had 25,000 acres of these peppers in Georgia. So it became a very popular pepper in the States, and it was shipped all around. Still wasn't a big to-do in the South yet until about the World War II. And then it started showing up in publications about how important it was to Southern culture. So again, it started in New York City, then it slowly went down to the South, and then the South has had it since World War II. It's been a delicacy, or there's many, many different recipes. If you go on the internet, you can find, it's just crazy. There's just so many different ways to make it and so many different mixtures. I got mine from my grandmother. When I was a young man, she did catering, and if you grew up a little back in the past, you used to go to weddings, and there would be like these little sandwiches, and there'd be cheese balls, and there'd be mince, and there'd be ham biscuits, and I remember her making pimento cheese, and that's the recipe I'll be sharing with you today. I have changed it a little bit. She wasn't a spicy person, so I added cayenne pepper and jalapeno to mine, but the original love for pimento cheese from my grandmother and my mom, and I guess that was where I got my love for cooking also, was through them. Again, that catering business, I remember making pounds of cheese balls and making ham biscuits and little sandwiches and making presentations for the wedding and all that. So as I get older, I look back to that. So today I'm doing something in the library where I don't have a stove and all that, but I can bring the ingredients together to make pimento cheese here. So I've been making this for a couple years. When do I make it, and who do I make it for? I make it for myself and my wife. You know, it's a nice little snack to have at night, or if you have a party. There's many different ways you can present it. You can put it on sandwiches. You can put it in celery. You can put it in other vegetables. You can use it on a cracker. The one that always gets me in trouble with my wife is when I make pimento cheese and bacon sandwiches. She just says, "What are you doing to your body?" But they're delicious. So I make it quite frequently, and it's really simplistic. So I'll start off making the recipe now. Let me get my ingredients out. So we need sharp cheddar cheese. The sharper the better. We need pimentos. We need mayonnaise. We need cream cheese, and the key to this is it's got to be at room temperature. If you try to make it when it's right out of the refrigerator, it isn't as smoothie and you can't spread it. If you take it out and you need to microwave it, definitely microwave it. Not for a minute or anything, but to get the chill out of it so it's a little bit smoother. You're going to need onion powder and garlic powder. And this is what I've added to my recipe over the years, cayenne pepper and jalapeno. And then I don't use a lot of salt and pepper in my cooking, but I do have them on the side just in case I need them. You won't probably see me use these because I think most food has enough salt, definitely. I might add some pepper, but I try to avoid using too much salt. The number one rule of cooking I've tried to share with my family and with my children is if you're not cleaning while you're cooking, then you're just making a mess. So that's rule number one to cooking. You want to save the cheese for last. You want to get all your ingredients mixed. So I need a half a cup of mayonnaise. I was going to put in all these like little fancy containers, but now I'm thinking I'm not going to do that because it's just too time consuming to do that. So I'm just going to mix them all right now and put them back in the fridge when I'm done with them. A quarter teaspoon of onion powder. A quarter teaspoon of garlic powder. If you really want to get fancy, you can just cut up some onions yourself and do it. You don't have to use the powdered stuff, but I was just going all powder today because it's simple. Some cayenne pepper, a little bit more than a quarter teaspoon because I like it a little spicy. Let me put this all away. 1 jalapeno pepper. You want to deseed it always. When you get done with your jalapeno pepper, always wash your hands. You want this to be diced pretty finely. You don't want, I know some people like some big chunky jalapenos, but I go with the finely chopped because some people think it's too much heat. I used to be one of those people, but I think as I get older, my heat tolerance has definitely gone up. I just think my taste buds are wearing out. So I need a little more spice than I used to like when I was a younger man. Okay. Next, you want to take about a ½ cup of pimentos. And the key to this is don't let them go in all wet. Drain these really well and to the point where you want to try to take as much water off them as you can, because then it makes the cheese a little bit too liquidy. So make sure you get as much water off your pimentos that you can. And this is more than a quarter cup, a little bit more because I like pimentos a lot, so I put a little bit more than a quarter cup. Usually what I do is I put more pimentos and more cayenne pepper than I'm doing right now. Then chop these up. Not too mush because you definitely want some bite of this. So this is more of a bigger chop. Don't make this a mince, make it a chop. Because you want to bite into some of those chunks. Okay, then we want to mix this together. Oh, I'm not paying attention. I forgot the cream cheese. Okay. All right, and you want to mix this all up. Okay, I didn't get that too mushy yet, but this is 2 cups of cheddar cheese. As I said, I pre-measured it. And then we just want to fold this all together into this. And you just fold and fold and fold. I also like to use the chunkier cheese. Sometimes you can get those really fine cheeses at the store. I avoid those. It turns it into more of a paste then. And if you get the larger chunks, and you can just get the block itself, but it's not any cheaper to get the block. I've done the comparison of prices. It's just as cheap to already get it grated. So I get the big grated cheese. And don't get the fine side because it just turns into a paste then. I mean, it tastes the same, but there's something about texture. I like texture. And this definitely gives you a texture. So you just want to fold it in, fold it in. Now it's going to taste wonderful right now, but really what you want to do with this is you don't want to start eating it right away. You want to put this in the refrigerator for at least an hour to let it chill and solidify a little bit. So I'm going to put this in the, whoops. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for a while. And that is how you make pimento cheese. I've already made some delicious snacks already with some pimento cheese I made earlier using the same recipe. And these are these wonderful sandwiches I told you about. This is, I haven't had one of these in a couple years, but that's good. That's my grandmother's right there. We used to make these, and she had a bunch of different recipes. I wish I could remember them all, but there was a green one, an orange one, tuna fish, some other things. And she would make all these weird shapes. But that's my first pimento cheese sandwich right there. These little, she did wheat and white bread and cut off all the heel and all that. Delicious. If you want a healthier choice, you can always go for my wife, when she was growing up, she tells me a story about, for Thanksgiving they would get pimento cheese. It's like this little stupid bottle. It's like this big, and I was like, what? She explained it to me. It was so weird. Matter of fact, we had it a couple months ago, and I guess you can call it pimento cheese, but it tasted kind of different. But they would have pimento cheese and celery sticks. Delicious. And of course, you can have Ritz crackers. If you really want to go and get a red pepper, and it's just double the pimento. Well, not double, but delicious. And thank you for joining us on this Make It with Mark Cheesy.